So the next presentation is by the full professor Teresa Sordé Martí from the Autonomous University of Barcelona. She specializes in sociology and she is co-chair of the KOARA Working Group Towards Transformation. So we're very happy to have you. Thank you for accepting our invitation and joining us to present this really relevant related content and some of the KOARA insights that of the working group. Thank you.
Thank you, Mireia, and thank you to the KALEIDOS project for this invitation to have this opportunity to present the work that we have done under the KOARA Alliance. Just a brief introduction about KOARA for those of you who might not be familiar. KOARA is an initiative, a member-based alliance. It was a European-led organization, but now it's all over the globe. And the main idea is to rethink and to redefine the research assessment processes. I mean, there was a consensus that the old system, the traditional systems and the mechanisms and tools that we had developed for a long time to assess the diverse research activities were not useful anymore to really capture all the benefits and all the outputs and contributions that research was making to society in general. So it comes from this need. And the way that is the structure is through different ways of participating. Most universities, research agencies, funding agencies are participating in KOARA, and with the specific characteristic that those who have signed the agreement are encouraged to implement and to move to action, not only to be signatory and not only to say that I agree with all these agreements and these commitments, but also to urge to take action. So each signatory institution that have signed the alliance is encouraged to develop an action plan. So that means that this is translated into real action and at the end, in real transformation of all these processes that there are many actors involved in the research assessment and conducting research and overall. So this is the introduction for KOARA. So within this initiative, as Mireia said, I have been serving as co-chair with Raimund Bleiswit from Germany of a subgroup dedicated to societal impact within a big working group dedicated to transformations, to how to transform the ecosystem and the system. And why we were interested in proposing a working group on societal impact. We and as a group of scholars, but also worldwide. There has been for a long time now, for more than 15 years, a big debate and a big discussion, an important and relevant discussion all around the world, in all countries, I would say, that research and the way that society is evolving, and there are an increasing number of challenges and needs. We have gone through a global pandemic, climate change, increasing inequalities, conflicts, wars, and all these challenges are demanding to research to really address all those things that are mattering for citizens and for society. So there is this call to research to be more socially relevant and to address the key issues that are affecting the citizens and the people in the world. And in the second part, there is also this commonly agreement that the tools and the methods that we have to measure the impacts and the benefits of society does not include they don't fully capture all the benefits and all the socially added value that research is contributing to. So the old tradition metrics and publications are not working anymore to really capture all these benefits and impacts that research is contributing to society. So in this context and in this scenario, research and researchers and funding agencies, we are urged to demonstrate in which ways we are contributing through our work to society, providing evidence and providing narratives and providing data and showcases of how our work doing research is actually addressing these initial challenges that we were mentioning at the beginning. So it is in this context that we had, and in this context that it's global, as I mentioned before, there are many different examples in different parts of the world that are already doing it in different ways, different approaches in a very broad sense, but there is just to mention some examples, the REF impact case studies in the UK that for a long time now, they have a long experiences encouraging and making the funding that the universities receive being dependent on their capacity to show the societal impact that they are achieving through the diverse activities that are conducted at the universities. So the REF system, it's a database that it's available to anyone to consult and to see in which ways universities and through research, particularly through research, they are contributing to respond to these big challenges that we are all facing. In France, there are different initiatives. In our working group, we counted with the collaboration with scholars and researchers from ASIRPA and from INRAE, and they had a long experience in implementing systems to really create a culture of impact within all the research process in the agriculture and environment fields. In the Netherlands, with these initiatives promoting these multi-actor projects, this is also very well known, and these are just examples. In many countries there are different developments going through this direction, and also Horizon Europe, as you might all know, we are all requested to explain in which ways we will be securing these expected impacts that many of the projects funded under Horizon Europe are demanded to respond to these expected impacts, and you have to be able to say in which ways you will secure or you will try to secure these expected impacts at the end of your projects or beyond. So these are just some examples of this global movement, this global debate, this global reflection that COARA is hosting, I would say, and is actually taking the lead in the world in developing all this reconsideration of the research assessment. So our working group was composed by more than 60 members, different associations, individual scholars, universities, organizations, and we have now finished our tenure as a working group, but of course we are now disseminating and promoting one of the outputs, the output, which is this white paper, we call it. It's a reflection paper that it's a way to define some of the key concepts, also enlist and provide some examples of tools and methods, and defining some guiding principles for those institutions, those researchers, funding agencies that are facing the demand of explaining and designing your research in order to achieve this societal impact. So this it's a paper that it's not an academic paper per se. It's meant to be distributed and to be useful for this overall public, funders, institutions, researchers, civil societies, which are also involved in research processes, and with the goal of improving the ways and the strategies and the tools that we have to show the societal impact that we are already achieving with the research activities that we are developing. So basically what we mean by societal impact, we had different meetings and different seminars and have done some desk work research, but also some of us were already in the field of doing research on societal impact. So drawing from all this expertise, we take a very broad conception and a very broad definition of societal impact. Basically, it's those contributions that you can show, the contributions that you can show that are providing an improvements and benefits to society beyond academia, beyond the traditional outputs of papers and citations and other types of outputs that are traditionally attached to research. And this can take very broad forms, from policy shifts to changes in the practices, public value, changing awareness, environmental outcomes, equity gains, etc. So the way that we conceptualize societal impact and these benefits and these improvements, it's a very broad, because this is the reality, and it really tries to embed and to capture all the diversity of research that is being developed. Of course, the way that we conceptualize societal impact, it's like a process, it's a pathway, taking the Horizon Europe vocabulary. It's a non-linear, so we have to learn how to handle this uncertainty. It's always co-created, so this is very much aligned with the KALEIDOS project. Researchers, we cannot achieve societal impact by ourselves. We need to collaborate with societal stakeholders, with public administration, with the funding agencies to achieve this societal impact. And of course, there is not a magic formula to achieve this societal impact, but it has to be tailored to this specific context and to the specific projects. So there are many different challenges, and for a long time we've been discussing and debating these challenges that we face when we try to assess and to show societal impact. The first one is the extra burden, but I think that now we are advancing a lot, and I would like to know about, David, the tools and the indicators that we can develop to reduce the overload, the overwork that implies, and the extra burden that implies to follow up with a finished project, to follow up, to know which has been the long-term and societal impacts, because of the societal impact you will not achieve it at the end of the project, but there is a time lapse between you achieve this impact. So this represents a problem because we are not used to follow up on our projects, and now we are requested to do so, and we don't have a website that provides us, like with the citations. It's very easy to keep track of the scientific impact, but it's not that easy to do it with societal impact, because there is not a unified system to do so. It has to be context-based, and there is this time lapse between you finish your project and the impact is realized in society. So there is this long time horizon, uncertainty, lack of resources to address this period of time in which we are requested to follow up, but we don't have the resources. Also, societal impact is not seen as relevant in all the fields. There is not an unanimously or an homogeneous way of approaching societal impact. In some fields, it's very much embedded because you are used to work with stakeholders and with social actors, but with others, it's very remote. It's something that it doesn't go with them. So there is all this barrier of creating this culture of impact to address this issue. Also, this complexity and the way that we can measure and show the societal impact is not easy. Sometimes it involves a second research, a research on the research that you have conducted, and this is not easy to tackle. There is always also a lot of confusion between societal impact understood as improvements and benefits with dissemination or policy impact or transfer. The fact that you are transferring your knowledge, your findings are being used by a public administration, this doesn't mean that it has a societal impact. It's a third step through this process. And of course, this is not a linear process, but many different actors are involved in all this process. But there is still a lot of confusion on dissemination and impact. Also, sometimes when we write a proposal, we are over-promising ourselves of what we will be achieving, and this is something that then it might be a problem. And also in terms of the time lapse that I was mentioning, the impact you will not be achieving in a short term, but you are requested to show your impact in the tempos of your project. And then of course not all the impacts are good. There are unintended effects and negative effects that should also be considered within the picture. So with all these challenges, perceptions, pitfalls and problems, they did not stop us to move along, because otherwise we will get stuck with the problems, and we were very much interested in moving along and seeing what's being already done, and what can we do, and how can we better spread what is already being done and is working in terms of assessing societal impact. So there are 3 dimensions that we develop, that we work from this structure in the paper. First, we were looking at the research funding schemes, and I'm gonna go more in detail in a minute, and then the tools and methods for evaluations, and then this idea of developing a culture of impact. So first of all, the research agencies have a function of promoting change. I mean, if a research scheme is asking us to work with stakeholders, this will mean that the researchers will work with the stakeholders. So there is a mapping of different ways, in different frameworks in which research funding agencies are working. And what we see is that these frameworks need to be blend, because sometimes you have to choose. There are some programs that are targeting excellence, others that are more targeting societal impact, and what we see is that the most effective ways to promote societal impact is those programs that propose and call for blended systems that combine both scientific excellence and rigorosity, but also the societal impact. And this also goes with this idea of how you define macro objectives, how you define the specific priorities. This is very much important, and they are key elements in order to promote the societal impact. Of course, there are also different elements like more details, for instance, the time horizon or the system level that you are targeting, or the risk balance, the way that all this is designed in the research schemes. This will encourage researchers to design and to rethink the way that the research is designed in order to better improve the societal impact. In terms of assessing the proposals and awarding and monitoring grants, what we see is that research agencies, and there is a need for a more open dialogue and a more monitoring processes in order to support the researchers and the research process in achieving this societal impact. In terms of the tools and the methods, there is a wide variety of tools, and what we see in our white paper and the work that we've done is that there is not a single and standardized way to promote and to measure societal impact, but we have embedded a very much pluralism and a very much open-minded way to approach this issue. What we also see is that it is very important, this definition of us as a pathway, as a process, and what you can do during this process in order to secure this or guarantee this societal impact at the end. And here the participatory based approach are very important. You need to co-create this pathway and this process. And finally, inside of the institutions, this was like the third dimension of promoting societal impact, is this idea, this overall idea of changing the mindsets towards a more culture of impact. There are many different institutions that are already doing it, and we are all pushed, I would say, to go towards this direction. In order for this culture, different strategies, we mentioned in our paper, we mentioned different strategies that institutions can embrace. For instance, to create structures, enabling the structures and support systems for this transformation to take place. In many cases, researchers don't know how to do it. So we need these support systems to promote training schemes in order to promote this culture within the institutions, and also this idea of promoting brokering processes to establish more bridges and more connections and more collaborations with the stakeholders and actors beyond academia. We need to learn and to work better these knowledge brokerage practices to really promote this idea that our findings and our research findings can be transferred beyond academia and be implemented and of course to achieve this societal impact that we are all aiming to achieve. Just to mention, there are these 6 guiding principles that are pretty much, I think I have covered all of them. We are calling to action with this paper to use it, to join the Quora communities of practice, share the cases. There are many different examples and cases that can serve as an inspiration or examples, and also to start small, maybe for those who do not have experience or who see this societal impact very remote and very far away. The idea is to start small and little by little developing and equipping yourself with all these tools and all these methods that are already there. Finally, I will share the QR code for those of you who want to consult, but just Googling it. The paper is open access, of course. It's on the Zenodo community of Quora, so anyone can consult, and we will be very much happy to respond or to clarify any question. Thank you.